All right, everyone, it's time for another Styxhexenhammer garden update. You'll notice that things are a little bit greener out there. Yes, indeed, the hot weather crops have been planted. There were a few foibles here. The garlic is going well. You can see we're going to have plenty of vampire resistance this year, so stay away, bloodsuckers. The spinach and the turnips over there are coming up, but there's not much to show you. These are all cucumbers, 12 of them, and then a couple of pepper plants. And I had an extra cantaloupe and squash and put them in, so they're doing fine. You can see little pea plants are sprouting up through. There's plenty of them coming up. They're kind of competing with the grass at the moment. I'll figure that out. I watered everything. I gave all of the hot weather crops an infusion of azomite and bone meal actually just now. Here we have 5 cherry tomatoes. I figured I'd flank them with these flowers. You know, the blackish petunias and then the white alyssums sort of contrast with each other. I thought that looked pretty. That's just for decoration. Down here, we had some problems with the carrots that I planted, and none of them have come up. I'm actually going to be mauling out this segment to get rid of the witchgrass, and I'm not sure what I'm going to plant there. But I've got 4 rows of carrots in this back part, and in the middle I can plant herbs or little flowers or something like that. It should be fine. The okra is looking fine over here. You know, this is just starting, little fly buddy, hello. It's just starting to get going, getting some new leaves on it. That'll do fine, I think. It should be warm enough. One of the cotton plants didn't make it, and so I put a jalapeno pepper in there. I just got that from the store and figured, yeah, fuck it, it doesn't matter. A couple aromas with cilantro and basil. That one over there is not standing up as well as the others, but it'll fix itself. There's chamomile basically everywhere in the garden. Here there's cabbage, and they did come up pretty well, but the witchgrass again was prevalent, and we're going to figure out what to do with that later. The beets here are coming up just fine. Again, they're very little, so there's not a whole lot to see. I mean, I can show you a little cluster of beets in there. Those are beet seedlings. You have to thin them out. They are doing well. It's just that, you know, it's hit or miss. Here, unfortunately, the Swiss chard had a low germination rate. And so what I did was I just replanted it. I ripped out all of the witchgrass that was still left in there. I planted the rows back in with new seed. That should do fine. The salad mix is growing well. That's going to have to be thinned, as you can tell. And also we've got plenty of broccoli in 2 rows here, and I mulched through that. Some little peppers. They're a little bit on the anemic side again. That should buff them up. The extra nitrogen from the bone meal should, you know, get them going pretty quick. These beets back here did fantastic, so they're all sprouting. There'll be plenty of beets back here, and 4 more peppers again. I don't know which are which. Some of them are poblano, some of them are sweet peppers. I don't know. I lost track of which was which. A little winter squash out there. This is I can't remember. I think that was a cantaloupe, actually. That'll be nice. Oh, sun-warmed melons, fresh ones. I think that was I can't remember whether there's a winter squash or a zucchini. I think that's a zucchini. That one definitely is. And then there's a pumpkin back there doing well. It's going to have berries on it. I might have to chop those canes off just to give the pumpkin a little more light. Centerpiece garden. Unfortunately, this okra here, it's still producing leaves, but I'm not sure if it's going to do anything. I just decided to give it a chance. As far as the collards, I mauled out this bed the best that I could. As you can see, they did sprout really well, those 2 back rows, so I decided to plant 2 more of them because this is the last day that you can really feasibly plant cool weather crops, and I figure I wanted more collards because I can't get enough of them. And the pak choi, that's doing well. That'll be thinned out, and that's the stir-fry garden, I suppose. Plenty of onions. You can see onion growth, yeah. There's a lot of weeds in there though, dude. These things, I don't even know what they are, but I'm gonna keep pulling them out and see what I can do. More onion, still more onion. Yeah, I like onions. Gonna make a lot of soup. And then the potatoes are starting to come up. There's plenty of potato action here. You can see, let's see. Where are you? This is one of the purple potatoes. And there's several of those. Most of them are either the little red potatoes or they're the standard, like the russets, basically. And I've got plenty of garden soil. Instead of hilling out from here, I'm just gonna dump that on them, you know, as they grow. They're all starting to come out now. and it's been rainy, but it's also, right now, it's fairly warm. Herbs and spices. This is for your food. Rosemary, thyme, oregano, dill. There's another eggplant right there. Again, a little bit on the needs nitrogen side, but after I water that in, it'll be fine. Some more basil clumps, because, you know, you can never get enough. 4 sage plants in back. And I can't remember exactly what that one was. I think that's another cilantro, if I remember correctly. And then we've got this. This is the Three Sisters garden. 6 rows of corn. Yes, indeed. The corn, of course, from Heritage Heirloom. And also bush beans. And then in the center, those shorter rows there that terminate with the squash, which we started inside. Again, those are the Turk's turbans, I believe, from Heritage Heirloom. They did really well. Those actually have the mother stallards. Those are pole beans intermixed. And so I figured I'll put little wooden poles in there, and we get 6 rows of corn, and I can't wait for more. Next year, there's going to be a massive expansion. You can't even believe it. Now that this garden's no longer fallow, all that work is done. So the sky's the limit. I mean, I can put down a tarpaulin to kill the grass over winter or whatever, and then just start from there. Because, I mean, there's a big bare spot in the back of the yard. It won't be difficult to till that up. It'll take almost no effort. So, you know, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Let's check the nettle water here. This is where I've got stinging nettles brewing in here. What do we got? Ta-da! That's sort of how it's supposed to look. You can see there's sort of like a bubbly scum on the surface of the water. And after a while, once it gets a little warmer, it's going to start to smell pretty bad. But plants love it. It's full of iron and proteins and shit like that. So you stir it around like a witch's cauldron, basically. You can eat stinging nettles. You have to cook them first. Otherwise, it'll be really stingy. So yeah, plenty of chamomile, plenty of garlic, all sorts of herbs and spices and everything else. And have an infinite supply of yummies. And keep in mind, normally I plan on May 15th for the hot weather crops. But I'm looking forward at the schedule. There's not going to be any night that's below 40 degrees, so it's perfectly fine to have them out here. So we'll get a little bit of extra, you know, breathing room in case there's an early frost or something. It shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to give regular updates. But today is the last day that, weather permitting, you're really going to be able to put in cool weather crops and have them do anything at all, you know, over the year, unless you want them to, you know, in the middle of August, you'll be harvesting your radishes or something like that. Extra basil plant. Again, some of the plants, and this has nothing to do with my stratum. I should have been giving them the low yield fertilizer a little bit more often, I think. And so that was really, that was my fault. But everything will be fine. You know, they get that extra few weeks of growth. They get good, I've got azomite and blood meal on all the hot weather crops. The azomite's for micronutrients mainly. It's a rock powder, and it gives you all of those micronutrients that aren't really found in commercial fertilizers. I've seen testimonials about it. I've used it before. It really does work. It's cheap. You get a bag of powdered azomite, and it will do wonders for your garden. I haven't bothered to fertilize the garlic yet. I will. But that's not quite as needy, and this soil here is actually pretty good, so, you know, that should do just fine. I had wanted to have just rows like that, you know, about 5 of them, but then it started to clump up, and I said, well, I'll just leave it there. I'll use that for seed garlic for the next year. No, dude, that cucumber row is really stealing the show. That wasn't here last year. I pushed the fence out already about 5 feet, nor was the corn and bean garden there, nor half of the potato garden. So definitely a huge expansion already, and that's only the half of it. You should see next year. I'm already planning for it. That's about all. Peace out.